Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video, I will be giving you guys 5 receivers that I think the Washington football team should target in free agency, and at the end of the video, we'll go over some under the radar receivers that they could target in free agency. So if you guys are new, subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. As you guys all know, wide receiver is one of our biggest needs this offseason, along with obviously quarterback, linebacker, and a couple other positions. We really need to help out whoever our quarterback is going to be with another receiving threat. Terry McLaurin is great and he's a good number 1 receiver, but we need someone else that can help Terry, because Terry's going to consistently and continue to get double teamed, and our quarterback isn't necessarily going to be able to throw the ball to him every time if he's getting double teamed all the time. So we need to get another threat that can separate, and this free agency class is a very good one for the wide receiver position. And also there are some very good wide receivers in the draft this year that we could go after, but I really do think that Ron Rivera and these guys are gonna want to go the veteran route. So let's get started with the few guys that we could go after, and we'll start with the biggest names first. Allen Robinson is probably the best wide receiver available this year in free agency. Still pretty young, 27 years old, and this past season had 102 catches, played all 16 games, 1,250 yards, 6 touchdowns, had a great year, and he did all this with Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky. So much like Terry McLaurin, he is quarterback proof. He's going to be able to perform with whoever's playing quarterback, but I do think that, whoever we have at quarterback this year hopefully will be an upgrade over what he had in Chicago, and I think that'll help him even more. And it'll also help that he's going to have Terry McLaurin on the opposite side of him, and that'll help Terry McLaurin too. It would be an amazing fit here in DC. He makes all the contested catches, but he's still pretty quick, and he's a good red zone threat too. The Bears didn't even use him well, but he was still able to produce quick, can really do everything as a wide receiver. Would be a great fit here in Washington. Obviously, the biggest concern is the money. It's going to take a lot of money to get him. He's probably going to be the highest paid receiver this year in free agency. So if we sign someone like Dak, it's going to be very hard for us to go after someone like Allen Robinson. But let's just say, hypothetical, we trade for Derek Carr, and that's like a $20 million cap hit. Then someone like Allen Robinson would be more reasonable and realistic. And because Allen Robinson also might not want to come to a situation where he doesn't know if the quarterback position is going to be stable. He might not want to play for Taylor Heinicke or Kyle Allen. He doesn't know if they're going to be able to perform. So that is something to keep in mind this offseason. The next guy is Chris Godwin. He's probably the second or third biggest name on him. I'm definitely not as high on him as I am on Allen Robinson. He's been okay. In 2019 had a really good year, 1,333 yards, 9 touchdowns with Jameis Winston as his quarterback. This year, a little bit of a down year. Obviously, though, he was playing hurt almost the whole year and only played in 12 games. He played 12 games, 840 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So if he would have played the full 16, he would have had a little bit over 1,000 yards. But he was also dealing with a bunch of hand injuries, some leg issues. So if he was fully healthy, he would have had a huge year this year. And, he has been struggling with some drops. But if he's one of the options available and we can't get Allen Robinson and can't get some of the later options in this video, I would definitely not mind going after someone like him, because you have to keep in mind he is 25 years old, so wouldn't be a bad option at all. So the next guy on this list is Corey Davis, and Corey Davis is a very young receiver for the Tennessee Titans. This past year, played in 14 games, 984 yards, 15.1 yards per catch, and 5 touchdowns. If he would have played 16 games, similar to what Chris Godwin did, probably would have had about 1,100 yards. Had a very good year, and he took a big leap this year, and he's probably going to get a lot of money this year. He might get wide receiver 1 money. I don't think he is that, even though he got drafted, I believe, in the top 5. in the draft. I'm fine with it. He would be a great number 2 receiver, especially with Terry McLaurin on the opposite side. I would love this match. I like it more than the Chris Godwin signing. That's just my opinion, though. Would be a good guy for us. 984 yards, like I said, this past year. The year before had about 600 yards. Had a down year. That was the year where they had Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill. The year before, about 900 yards and 4 touchdowns. So would be a solid option in free agency. The next guy, he has been linked to Washington a lot, obviously, because of his connections with Carolina, and I think this is very realistic, not only because we're gonna be interested in him, but he might be interested in us too, because he played in that same system, in the same offensive system that we're playing here. He did in Carolina a couple years ago. He knows Scott Turner, and let's say we stick with Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke, he knows what he's getting out of those guys, and he might end up wanting to play for them. That's also something to think about. Last year, or this past year in 2020, 850 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had 200 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So a total over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. And, he could be a good slot receiver for us. He's not much of an outside guy, can line up there occasionally. But like I said, more of a slot guy. But again, it's about creating separation and not, being able to throw to someone. If Terry's doubled, you want to be able to have a guy that can create some separation to help out your quarterback. And I think Curtis Samuel is that guy, and he's going to be much cheaper than the first 3 guys on this list. Might get a decent amount of money, but not nearly as much as the first 3 guys on the list. And, throw in a little extra bonus. He played at Ohio State, so he has that chemistry with Terry McLaurin. And the last guy on this list, Marvin Jones. I think Marvin Jones would be a solid option for us because, like I said, I really think we need a wide receiver number 2, or at least a veteran guy that can come in and no matter what, as long as he plays 14 plus games, he's going to get you 500 plus yards. And that is exactly what Marvin Jones will do for you. I mean, he only played in 9 games in 2018, still got over 500 yards. 2019, 779 yards, and in 2020, 978 yards, played in all 16 games, and had 9 touchdowns. He's probably going to be more expensive than we thought he was going to be coming into this past season, but still, I think it would be a solid option and a guy that can get you 750 yards consistently. I mean, look at this. 2015 to 2020, every single year he put up 780 yards or more, and except for 2018 when he played in 9 games. So I would definitely consider this option because it would be a lot better than what we have at the moment. He's been very productive and can get in the end zone. I mean, you see 3 out of his past 4 years, he's got 9 plus touchdowns. So would not mind him at all. So those are the 5 right there, and we'll go real quick into some, sleepers heading into the off season, or, under the radar guys. Maybe Will Fuller. I would stay away though, just because of the PEDs and the injury history there. Tim Patrick would be a solid option. Kendrick Bourne from the 49ers had about 700 yards this past season. Pascal would be okay. You guys see the list right here. We're going to have to probably re-sign Cam Sims. Antonio Brown's a free agent. I would be very surprised if he is not back in Tampa. So you see those guys right there. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out, and we'll see. I do think we're going to end up getting big name wide receivers. A guy that at least got 600 plus yards last year, 700 plus yards, because we need another guy. We might also get a guy in the draft. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out, and if we do upgrade this position. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video, and let me know which wide receiver you want us to sign in free agency. Peace.